Another reminding, inshallah ta'ala, about the ruling of divorce. Ruling of divorce. It is very important for a Muslim who is married husband to know these rules. If you are truly following Messenger Muhammad alayhi salatu salam upon a knowledge, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني. Say, this is my way. I call people to it upon a knowledge, I and those who follow me. So if you truly follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you should be upon a knowledge in this affair. If you are a husband, you want a divorce, you should know these rules. Before that, I would like to, I don't remember the wording, but there is an amazing statement of Shaykh Rabi' Hafidhahullah when he make a very summarized tafsir on Surah Al-Fatiha. A statement he mentioned, he said, the meaning may be close to. He mentioned that the person needs sabr when there is calamities. That's when you need to apply the verses of patience. It's when there is a calamity, when there is difficulty, it is there when you need to apply those verses. So now when we recite the ayat of sabr, we believe it, and we may have khushu', walillahi alhamd, and submit ourselves to those verses. But when the calamity happened, the Shaykh said that's when we need to apply it. So the ruling of the ahkam of divorce, we should remember when we need to apply it. It's not now when we are in salah. Yes, in that we should believe the rule of Allah Azza wa Jal. But when it is the time to act upon, it is then when we should follow those rules. From those rules, a man shouldn't divorce his wife while she is in a state of menses. It's haram. So if someone wants to divorce his wife, he must first make sure that she is not in a state of menses. Because one of the Sahaba, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, divorced his wife when she was in a state of menses. Prophet, when he was informed that, he was very mad at him. فَتَغَيَّضَ وَجْهُ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. Prophet was very mad. His face changed. This is not an easy issue. So you don't say you divorce it. Yes, you get it. I give you this. This is not playing game. This is the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. لا يلعب بآيات الله. These ahkam rules, we shouldn't play on it. So if someone wants to divorce his wife, he must make sure that she's in a state of menses. If she's in a state of menses, it's haram to divorce. He has to wait. That's one rule. The other rule, even if she is not in a state of menses, he has to make sure that in that period, which was not in a state of menses, he didn't have intercourse with her, he didn't sleep with her. He has to make sure. Because if that happened, it's not allowed to divorce again. It's haram. He cannot divorce when she is not in menses, but he had intercourse with her. It's haram. He has to wait. Also, he cannot divorce. The third rule, he cannot divorce his wife with 3 talaq. Talqa or 2. Only 1 talqa. Or he says, I divorce you. Or 1 talqa. Not 3, let alone more than that. This is talaqun bid'i, is innovation. If the person follow this, imagine he may protect from himself many shaitanic path of, I was hastening, I really don't know what I was said. You will not say it because you think properly. You wait that time. If it's not that time, this is very important. Also, it's advised. It's advised. It's recommended. It's good, ya akhi. If you're divorcing your wife, don't ignore those who marry you to her. Don't ignore her father. Don't ignore her brother. Don't ignore whoever married her. Don't ignore the wakil. Whoever married you to her. Remember them. Say this, don't say this I make my decision. I no. Get back to those people, the guardian, the awliya of that woman. Say, Akhi, this is what's happening. Please, if I'm wrong, correct me. If she is wrong, please talk to her. But you don't do that. Some brothers, they just go home. The woman is coming, carrying his luggage, coming to the house of her father. The man who was humbling himself when he was seeking marriage, to look for all those intercessors. Maybe went to the imam, please talk to this family. Now when he was supposed to respect these people, give them chance to correct their daughter if she is wrong, and if he is wrong to be corrected, and things to go smoothly, he neglected that. This is not right. It's not a respect. Treat the people the way you like to be treated. You don't like your daughter be divorced, and nobody even inform you, nobody even tell you, nobody give you the chance to correct your daughter, or to support her if she is being oppressed. Anyway, this is also very important. Respect of the parent, of the relative. And one last thing, the Muslim woman, Muslim wife, she obeys her husband in that which doesn't contradict to the deen of Islam, and she takes that kind of obedience as an act of worship. It is not slavery. It's not dictatorship. It's not somebody taking her freedom. No, it's an act of worship. As you pray Isha, you pray Fajr, a Muslim wife obeys her husband in good. What she is able and what's not haram. This is a mandatory, this is command from Allah Azza wa Jal. Sometimes some women, subhanAllah, they don't even give the basic right of a husband. They don't even give it. For instance, maybe months ago, this woman, she didn't make herself available for her husband. She may be praying, maybe tahajjud, tarawih. Where is that in Islam? Tarawih is sunnah. Tahajjud is sunnah. To answer the call of your husband is a mandatory. The angels of Allah curse that woman whole night. It's not playing. وَمَا هُوَ بِالْهَزْلِ. The deen of Allah is not joke, it's serious. Has consequence. Angels of Allah are cursing her. If the woman disobey her husband, she doesn't answer his call one single night. How about 2, 3, 4, 5 months, year? Then she says why the problem is going through. So this is just an example that a Muslim woman, when it comes to obeying her husband, respecting him, talking to him nicely, your leader, he's a leader. The Muslim leader, even if he is sinner, still he has some status in the deen of Islam to respect him, to make dua for him, to be patient, to obey him in that which doesn't contradict to the deen, to go back to Allah subhanahu to rectify affairs, not to fight him, not to overthrow him. This is a kind of leadership. The house, husband and a wife, they are two different people. They have two different names, they have two different feelings, they have two different opinions. If one of them is not obey, if one of them is not listen, when there is difference of opinion, then how the life can continue? If the woman says, I'm going my way, you take on your way, this is the way I like, then this family, even if they exist outside physically, husband and wife coming from the same apartment, for sure they don't have good life. Unlike if they obey Allah Azza wa Jal, and the husband is very kind, very respectful, very nice to his wife. Prophet ﷺ said, the best of you is the best of you to your wife. Some men, they don't even allow their wife to talk, to express their feeling. No, don't talk. How are you talking? Every time she talk, cut her off. I'm the man. La, Prophet used to listen. His wife used to take their opinion. Used to be patient with them. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he's the example. So, man, wallahi, even they get mad, Allahu a'lam what comes out of their mouth. Some of them break the house. They break the laptop. The woman, nobody can stay in the house. She has to lock the door. Whole night she doesn't know will you come enter from the window or when. La ilaha. This kind of life. Akhi, Allah said, وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفِ أَوْ فَارِقُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفِ. You live with your wife with good. You cannot live without with good. Set her free with good. Why cursing one another? Why fighting one another? Why then astaghfirullah, saying bad stuff about one another? Why making the family fight one another? Everyone team up with his relative. And then where is the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And the family Muslim destroy, kids, disaster. This we have to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these rules. So when you're mad at your wife, when you want to divorce her, it is there when you need to apply these rules. And to show you really abide to the rules of Allah Azza wa Jal. You don't follow by desire, you follow by the text of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very important. One more example. When do we need to apply the verse of Islah, rectification, putting peace between people? How many virtue, how many benefit of making people understand one another? The Muslims love one another, respect one another, help one another, support one another. How many texts in the deen of Allah? In a way, Allah said, لا خير في كثير من نجواهم إلا من أمر بصدقة أو معروف أو إصلاح بين الناس ومن يفعل ذلك ابتغاء مرضات الله فسوف نؤتيه أجرا عظيما. Amazing, Shaykh Uthaymin said, if someone make Islah, rectification, peace between people, if he doesn't do for the sake of Allah, still he is considered he did good. He didn't do for the sake of Allah. He did to make money, to show off whatever. The Shaykh said, still that person is considered he did good, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward him with good. If he does it for the sake of Allah, his reward is Jannah. فَسَوْفَ نُؤْتِيهِ أَجْرًا عَظِيمًا, is paradise. So if you make Islah people, husband and his wife, you make them understand. Family, father and his daughter, his son, mother and her daughter, brothers, sisters, family, neighbor, you put them peace, you make them understand. If you do it for Allah, the reward is Jannah. If you don't do for other than if you do for other than Allah, the ulama they say like Shaykh Uthaymin, still you get good from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then when do we need to apply this ayah? When there is Islah. When we have a chance to make Islah between people. This is when we should apply. Otherwise, what's the benefit of these ayat? In Islah, Prophet ﷺ said, ألا أدلكم بأفضل من الصلاة والصيام والصدقة إصلاح ذات البين ألا إن فساد ذات البين هي الحالقة لا أقول حالقة الشعر ولكن حالقة الدين. هذا الحديث صححه الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله. Prophet ﷺ said, do I tell you something better than charity, sadaqah, fasting, rectifying between people? People having corruption among themselves, Prophet ﷺ said, it shaves. He said, I'm not saying it shaves the hair, it shaves the religion. No religion when people have problems, especially the closest people to one another, backbite one another, oppress one another, hatred one another, hasad one another. So many calamity, break down the family, maybe affect the rest of the community. Therefore, Islah making is so great in Islam. When do we need to apply? When I have a position to make Islah people, I should do it. In Islam, even you lie to make Islah. You are allowed to lie when you make an Islah. Women is allowed to lie to her husband when she fear. If she doesn't do that, the house will break down. Husband is allowed to lie to his wife when he has no other way. He doesn't have any other way. Yes, if you have a truthful way, you take it. You don't have it, and you scared the house break down, you are allowed to lie. If you give your own money, 1,000 money to put peace between people, Islamically, you get that money from the zakah. Wal-gharimin is from those who make Islah. This is how great it is to make Islah. When do I need to apply those texts? When I am in the position to make Islah. If that time I ignore, husband and wife are fighting, brother and sister is boycotting, such is, I can't make Islah. My father, my sister, my mother, my father, my mother, they have problem. I can't make Islah. I can't make them understand. If I don't apply those texts, then when am I going to apply? So Shaykh Albani, Shaykh Rahimahullah Ta'ala, Shaykh Hafidahullah, Shaykh Rabi' said what means the ayatul sabr, the verse of patience we need at the calamity time. So inshallah, brothers, let we respect the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in general, and especially when it comes to the marriage, we go by those rules for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to forgive us all, to give us good ending. وصلى الله وسلم على